All right. Thank you so much, Paul. Now, I would like to invite our main speaker, our member, Luis Franco. He's going to share with us all about tax for your own business. Like Atomy is independent business owner, all of you are. So he's going to give us all the information what to do about your tax. So please welcome, because we are lucky to have him to learn about the tax. So please welcome Luis.
All right.
Thank you, guys. First of all, make sure you guys are all mute, because I don't want to hear no backgrounds.
Yes, everybody mute, please. If you are not speaking, please mute.
I'll try to do this as simple as I can, and so you can understand how I present my tax view in different businesses, okay? And what I do is I take every business different from the tax system that the United States give us, okay? And then I share it, and that's what I do. Make sure you guys understand what the IRS wants you guys to do when it comes to the end of the year and report your taxes. I will answer questions and answer at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, write them down so you don't forget them. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the first time Atomy tax presentation from Franco Tax Services. My name is Luis A. Franco. I'm known as the tax doctor, and the reason why I call myself the tax doctor, just like doctors, certain area fields of surgery, and I specialize in surgery in the tax system. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm very educated in what I do. I was educated by an individual, which you learn his name through the presentation. And he is a former IRS tax attorney from the IRS agency, and he's a good friend of mine and acquaintance. And I'm one of his thousands and thousands of students that he has taught through the years. And he's been doing this for over 50 years. Taxpayers, that's what we are. In this country, we're taxpayers. If you work, you got to pay taxes, so we're called taxpayers. As I'm sure you noticed, our retirement system today is broken. Social Security is on a life support. And the reason why is because the young generation are not doing what we baby boomers done for the years, and grandpas and dads and so on, that we work for the rest of our life and we end up poor at the end of the year, and we just don't survive in this country. Okay, so a lot of the young generation are being self-employed, and we're working for yourself. So where are they going to find Social Security? There ain't none. In the future, there ain't going to be none. Pensions are a thing of the past, because people nowadays, when you work for somebody, there's no pension. Unless you work federal job, state job, civil service job, then you get a pension. Other than that, there is no pension out there. You're working for free. Unless you don't put your money away for retirement, there is none at the end of the year. Okay, or when it's time to retire. And according to a recent survey, 56% of Americans, more than 1 in 2, have less than $10,000 saved up for retirement or emergencies. And that's true, because I've been in that position myself in the past. Okay, I'm trying to save, but you know what? Emergency here, emergency there. I need to get my car fixed. I need to pay my bills. I need to pay my mortgage, my rent in order to live. Okay, so we don't have that much to save. This is Uncle Sam. This is the man that takes your money away every single week, month, years. Okay, and he wants you to tell everyone about this. Congratulations for the people who are doing a home-based business or any type of business on the side to subsidize your income that you work full-time for somebody else, okay? And for the ones that just coming in and not a part of the business, congratulations for showing up to this presentation because it's going to small business or home business. Every taxpayer complains about paying too much in taxes, but it is rare person who decides to do something about it. I was one of those, and I did something about it, and I've been doing business for the last 20 years. Okay, and for the ones that have been doing business with Atomy, congratulations again. You're doing something in order to fix your income and the way you live and living behind whatever you're trying to leave behind for your grandkids and your great-grandkids. I care about the people who are struggling with their income. That's the reason why when I get involved with different companies, or I get involved with companies that are worth getting involved in doing the business, okay? My wife gets involved with the product. So when she does that, I get to get involved with her business because I want to know what the tax write-offs are if they honor that business. And that's how I get involved. So I do care about they working so much to get to meet ends at the end of the year, and they just can't do it. This is 100% legal and equitable information. Learn how you can reduce your taxes to the legal minimum. Now, in this country, in the United States, there's no such thing that I don't pay taxes. We all pay taxes. It depends how you reduce your tax liability, and that's the key in this country. So what have you got to lose? You got nothing to lose, nothing. And I'm talking about a home-based business, okay? It's a home-based business. That means that you do your business from home, not renting an office or a warehouse or whatever. You do it from home. Passed by Congress. George W. Bush, president. That was the year that George W. Bush came out with the home-based business, saying that we need to give our taxpayers an opportunity to do business like these other big corporations do, and they take 100% tax deductions under their business. Why can't we do that to our people that are struggling and bring it back home? And this is what he did for us. Who's behind these tax laws? Stanford Barty. That's the individual that I was talking to you about. He's the IRS tax attorney, and he still works for the tax attorney. His job is to educate the people that work in the agency how to convince us taxpayers that the business you're running is not legal and you're not doing it correctly. That is their job, is to convince you. And if they convince you to do that, okay, you're going to end up paying taxes for the next 3 years, past 3 years, okay? It all depends how long you've been doing business. And sometimes they always make a mistake. Trust me, we're all humans. We all make mistakes, okay? But the IRS has been making so many mistakes, and I've been catching them. And that's how my clients are in the right and legal position to do this, because they're doing it correctly, because I have taught them how to do it correctly. Again, he's the IRS former tax attorney. He's also the IRS chief counsel officer. That means that they sit around, there's 10 of them, they sit around this big circle table and they discuss what IRS codes and tax policies and procedures are going to be changed for the next president. Every president that comes around every 4 years, they always change the policies and the taxes, and it's either for us or against us. It all depends. He's a former of the Tax Reduction Institute, TRI. He created 50 years ago his own business to help taxpayers how to take the advantage of tax deductions in the system that the IRS gives out there, okay? And again, I'm one of his millions and millions of students that are educated because of him. And every tax client that I have that comes to me, either referral or they meet me in the street, when I introduce myself and try to help them out, okay, I will educate them the best way I could educate them so they could get the best benefits of a tax return every year. Again, it's not avoid paying taxes, but it's to reduce your tax liabilities. He educated and taught over 6,000 tax attorneys within the tax system, within the agency of the IRS. Okay, that is his job. So he taught me it's how much you keep that counts. That means how much you keep in your pockets at the end of the year that counts, not how much you make. Okay, it's how much you keep in your pocket, not how much you make. You can make lots of money, okay, but if you don't know the tax write-offs or deductions under that certain business you're running, you're not really pocketing those deductions in your pockets. You don't know, so you're going to end up paying more taxes, and your tax liability is going to be higher. The United States has two tax systems, okay? In this country, the US has two tax systems, and we'll talk about the first one. The first one is employees, okay? We all work for somebody because that's the only way that we can make a living, right? Get a job and work so we can pay our bills that we normally consume, okay? It's home expenses, car expenses, food expenses, clothes expenses, medical expenses, and so on and so on. So think about what you write every single month in bills, every single month, okay? The disadvantage for an employee, a W-2 wage earner, the disability is a W-2 wage earner work for somebody else. You work for somebody else, okay? You work for somebody else. Back in the early years, you used to be in the 20-20 plan. You work for 20 hours for 20 years, and Uncle Sam, which is the IRS, takes 20% out of your retirement, okay? Today is 2023, going to 2020, 80 plan. That means you work for 80 years, you work for 80 hours for 80 years, and Uncle Sam takes 80% out of your taxes. I've seen our seniors out there working in Walmart as greeters, and they're 80 years old, 90 years old, and this is ridiculous, okay? And I'm not going to be one of them because I had the chance to retire at the age of 62 because of the tax system and all these businesses that I do. Because the products are awesome, okay? Just like Atomy is. That's the reason why I was able to retire at that early age. My brothers and sisters are still working. They're in the 70s, okay? They cannot quit because they have bills to pay. That's the difference, guys. Okay, they have very few tax deductions, okay? An employee that does not have a home-based business or a small business, okay, have few deductions. The first one, if you own a home, you got mortgage interest. You're going to pay your property tax. Okay, this is what the IRS is giving you. It's on Schedule A. On Schedule A, you can write off your mortgage interest, you can write off your property tax, okay? Now, you also have standard deductible. Standard deductible is to help offset your tax liability. As a single person, as filing joint, filing separate, and a head of household. That means you're a single parent and you have dependents. That's the head of household, HOH. You give to church and charities, okay? And of course, you contribute to your 401. Your retirement plan. Well, guess what, guys? All this stuff used to be good back in the old days. None of this stuff will supersede your standard deductible. So it's worth nothing. It is worth nothing. It just sits there on Schedule A. That's the reason why people say, why do I have all this? And I'm reporting in it and I still have to pay taxes. And that's the reason why your standard deductibles getting higher and higher as the economy gets worse, okay? It's to offset your tax liability. But the problem is you guys work 80 hours, you make good money overtime, triple time, okay? And and the other thing is that are you sure that when you fill out your W-4 when you first started as an employee, was it submitted correctly? Sometimes people fill out those forms and they take more paychecks in their pockets and pay less taxes on their wages. So at the end of the year, if you have nothing to write off or offset those tax liability, you're going to end up paying. Now, if you get a tax return, okay, it's because you overpay your taxes. That's people who do not have a business. You only work for somebody else, okay? 7 days a week, 5 days a week, or whatever. You get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, or whatever how you get paid, okay? Those taxes is just giving it back to you because you overpaid them. That's all that is. Essentially, for employees, three-step process. This is what employees, W-2 wage earners go through. Step one, we work hard, which we do, but we're always there on time to get to start working and to earn a decent wages. Okay, now we work for the employee, for the employer, and trust me, I work for so many different employers, and they didn't recognize my job because I know I was doing the best I could, what I had, and I was educated to do the job, but they never recognized me for working hard. So you get no bonuses, no raises, and no promotions. So why stick around? You know, you're gonna end up being poor at the end of the year, and you're gonna die poor. And also, in the old days, we had three systems. We had the rich, the middle class, and we had the poor. Well, guess what? There is no more middle class. So that either you're rich or you're poor. So we're all poor to this day. Step two, immediately you lose a huge chunk of those hard-earned wages to taxes. That's the W-4, excuse me, the W-4 form that you fill. You have to know how to fill it. So that way the proper taxes are taken out of your paycheck. So at the end of the year, you don't end up paying taxes, okay? Step three, then whatever's left on your paycheck after taxes is what you live on. So that means that this country, United States, people are living from paycheck to paycheck. And they taking out loans, those quick loans. I need $500 to pay my bill, plus interest that you have to pay them back, okay? I've been there, I've done that, trust me, okay? It's not worth it. People work 3 or 4 jobs. The more you work, the more Uncle Sam, which is the IRS, takes your taxes than the federal. They don't give you nothing. It's always take, take, take. And I lived that life and I stopped it for my kids. I told my kids when they grew up, go to college, find a job that you enjoy doing and enjoy it. Because that's the job that you like to get up every single morning, enjoy doing it. At the same time, it pays your bills, okay? But I did better than that. They're all in businesses because I made sure they do some type of business so they could adjust their tax liability so they don't have to pay taxes or lower the minimum of taxes. That's the dream of America, okay? And there's a lot of people out there that just don't use that system, okay? It's like I told you, there's millions of us out there that know the system and I practice from it, okay? I wasn't born in this state, excuse me, I wasn't born in this country, okay? But I learned the system, how to use it, not against them, but to my advantage, okay? The second type is the business owner. And I like to, all the business owners in this presentation, in this Zoom, because you did it right. You're doing it actually right, okay? Now, the advantage of this is tax owners, excuse me, business owners learn the tax laws. What is the laws pertaining to your business? The tax codes. What is the tax code pertaining to your business? And the court ruling, okay? The tax court ruling policies and procedures, okay? You learn how to, you have to know these in order for your business to be successful. And believe me, when I got into business, I didn't know none of these because nobody ever taught me how to do this, okay? Or to learn it until I met Sandy, okay? And now you met me. Again, I always strive home-based business or small business, okay? Now, when I say small business is take something that you know you can do. If you work for an electrician company, a plumbing company, a roofing company, you can always open a side business doing the same thing that you qualified for. Now you own the business, doing it on weekends or your days off. That's a business. That's a small business that you can do, and it'd be a home-based business also. Okay, then you got other businesses. It's called multi-level marketing. Okay, Atomy is one of them. Okay, Atomy gives you the product, and your job is to go out there and share the product, share the business, and then educate them how to do the business correctly. I educate the tax portion. Again, home home-based business, where it is. Big tax deduction. You're looking at over thousands of tax deductions, thousands, okay, to reduce your income. So that way you don't have to pay that much taxes to Uncle Sam. You get to keep the money that you spend on the business back in your pocket. Most tax preparers do not understand in the least exactly what deduction that tax law allows. And it's true. Because when I started in the early 2000, I went to so many tax agencies, tax preparers, and none of them could tell me what is the laws pertaining to a home-based business. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I knew they didn't know it. So I walked away and I started educating myself in 2000. Okay. I took a basic course in tax preparation. And from there, I just nonstop, and I'm still doing it. I enjoy what I do, because when I take a client and I see that happy face and that stress disappear at the end of the year, I know I was blessed to do this, and I love it, guys. I really do. How to qualify to use them to reduce your own taxes to the legal minimum. That's what I was talking about earlier. It's the legal minimum. There's no such thing you don't pay taxes. You got to pay some taxes, but the lowest that we can get it. Okay, so those expenses that you incur in your business come back in your pocket as refunds. What records would make your tax return bulletproof? Okay, you got to know which records to keep, how to keep your receipts, invoices, and stuff like that in a certain way that the IRS wants you to do it. Guess who could pay for your home-based business? Uncle Sam could pay for your home-based business, guys. Okay, and how does he help you pay for your home-based business? By giving you the information that you need so you could put your money in your pocket, not in his pocket. Okay, and they're not out there to give you information. You have to find your own information. That's why they have publications out there for all kinds of stuff. Okay, but the problem is when you read those publications, you don't even understand a word they're talking about. Okay, and I've been through that also. Okay, but I got myself again educated from Sandy. He taught me how to read those and how to put it in a way that a 6-year-old can understand what I'm talking about. Okay, and that's what I've done for the last 20 years. My brother's been doing it also, and he's got over 55 years old because our dad did that back in the 60s. He did the same thing that I'm doing and my brother's doing. He did that way early before we were growing up. Okay, so he taught us that the only way to survive in this country is to open up your eyes and do a side business. Stop working for somebody that is not going to give you no recognition, and stop giving your money to Uncle Sam, which is the IRS, or the auntie, which we call it in Hawaii, your state. Okay. To qualify for these tax deductions, you must, 1, demonstrate that you intend to make a profit. Okay, so that means that go out there, share the products, take their names, whoever you're sharing the product, their name, their addresses, their phone number, their emails. Okay, you're sharing the product. It could be coffee, it could be, it doesn't matter, cosmetic. Okay, now when you share it, you take their names, and that's called a follow-up. You're following up on once they use it to see how did it come out to. Did you enjoy it? Did you loved it? So on. Okay, and you get to write off those products because it's part of your expenses, and it's called promotional. You're promoting your business as you give free product, because Atomy says what? We do not sell. And that's how we do it, is by sharing our products. Okay, our testimony of what we took and what we want to share because it worked for us. Just like Paul, him, right? Just like me, him. I'm in the same position that Paul is, getting old, okay? And we want to be as healthier as we can, especially at this time of generation, okay? Our parents grew up with a generation that nothing was poison, fresh air, good food, good everything. Okay, but time has changed in this world for everybody. My dad just passed away a year ago at the age of 94. He was short of 95. He lived a good life, healthy. He was healthy. There was nothing wrong with him. He died, okay? Because his heart just gave up, okay? My mom just turned this year in March, 90 years old, and she's in perfect health, okay? So I promise myself and my family that I will outlive my parents, and I know Atomy is going to do that for me. I know it for sure. That's my goal, and I want to share it as much as I can to many people. Okay, so again, demonstrate that you are intent to make a profit. 2, and this is the most important part of the business, guys. Okay, work your business on a regular and consistent basis. Okay, that means go out there, call people, share. Okay, if they knock you down, don't worry about it. You got plenty of people out there. Okay, plenty. And don't be ashamed of approaching people that you don't know. Okay, make flyers, make brochures, make anything to recognize what company you're working for. Okay, it is your company, you own it. Okay, like Mr. Park says, you own the company. He just represents you. Okay, so you go out there and you just share. Now, the IRS code says regular and consistent basis. You're only looking at 45 minutes, 3 to 4 hours a week. That is all required. That is the requirement. 45 minutes, 3 to 4 hours a week. Now, who does more than that? I do, trust me, because I'm sending out emails, I'm sending out texts, everything that pertains to this company, because it's awesome. 3, run your small business, because it is a small business, okay? Like other real business. Run your business like a big corporation, okay? There's nothing here that your business, that the corporation doesn't have against you. They have the same tax deduction that you have running your home businesses, which is called Atomy, okay? So run it like a real business. Now, talking about that, running like a real business. Years and years doing business for myself, and mostly multi-level marketing businesses, okay? I was never told that in a business, and also called a business plan. I was never told that because I felt that my business wasn't a big business, right? But that's what the IRS is saying. Run your small business like any other real business, okay? We're talking about corporations. So in your business, you got to make sure you have a business plan in place, okay? That business plan tells the IRS your daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly activities of the business, how you produce or you sell. In this case, we don't sell nothing, so we share products, okay? So that's what they want. So the day you get audited, which be happy the day you get audited and they can't find nothing wrong. Trust me, I was audited the first 10 years in business. I was audited 4 times and they couldn't find nothing wrong with my bookkeeping because I was taught the proper way of doing it, okay? Keeping all the receipts, mileages, and all that stuff. So I was very proud. Now it's been over 15 years that I haven't been audited, so I know I'm doing something right, okay? And by the way, the IRS and the state of Hawaii, they know me very good. They know me very, very good because I'm one of the standish students. So every time I put my signature in that 1040 at the bottom, they already know that this person is being taught correctly, and that's what I do, okay? And again, make sure that you have a business plan in place because that's the biggest thing that the IRS looks for. So the day you audit you go to the audit appointment, first thing out of their mouth is going to say, I want to see your business plan. And you're going to look at them like, what business plan? And believe me, It happened to me. Okay. So now I'm ready. So every single business that I have a business plan in place for those. Okay. So let's say you did have a business plan. You give them a copy of the business plan and they'll say, okay, you're done. And about 10 days later, they send you a letter saying that your case is closed, because the business plan actually, when they read it and they went through it, it actually explained to them exactly how you run your business every single day, week, and month, and year, pertaining to the tax preparer who did your taxes, how he filed your return. It should be about almost the same. Okay, it should be going about the same. If it doesn't, then they're going to send you a letter saying you're being audited. Okay, and so on. That's what happens. I've been audited. A couple of my clients, I have challenged the IRS, and we have a lot of cases that we won. Okay, now I was doing that on my own in those days, but now I hire a company that does my auditing myself. Okay, I just take the letters that my clients get from the IRS, I give them to my company, and my employers that I have, my employees that I have, they challenge the IRS to paperwork that is required to submit, so we can challenge them. We had 2020, one of my clients signed up in a home-based business, but she didn't generate no income because, remember, number one, demonstrate that you intend to make a profit. She did that. Okay, and in 2022, she did her taxes, and then in 2022, they sent her a letter saying that they want to audit her in 2021. And then she didn't do what I always tell to my clients, that when you get a letter, please give it to me so I can take care of it. Okay. Well, she decided to do it on her own, and she did pretty good a job. But again, if you don't know the tax codes pertaining to that audit, she lost her case and she has to pay back $4,500 back out of her refund that I gave her originally. Okay, and she calls me and she told me that $4,500 was taken out of her refund. I said, well, how come? And then that's when she spilled the beans and told me what had happened. I said, okay, give me all the letters that you got from the IRS from day one. And she sent them to me by mail. She did everything that I wanted her to send to me. Took my company. We did all the paperwork. We challenged it, took us the forms and everything. We submitted to the IRS. And she gives me an email and tells me, thank you very much. You're a blessing. I got my money back. Okay. So see me, I'm very educated on what I do. Okay, I know the tax laws very good. The problem is they don't know it as good as I do. Okay. Number 4, keep your records. Okay, record all your income, your expenses, and your business activities. Okay. Now let's go back in that one. Okay, report your income. Now, in some home-based business and multi-level businesses, if you don't make more than $600 a year, you don't get a 1099 form from the company. Okay. Now, some company, I don't care if you do $50, $100, or $300, they'll send you a 1099. Okay. Now, those 1099s are reported to the IRS, so you can't get away from not reporting those incomes from that business. Okay. But if you make less than that, this is the income you make for the year, we're going to report it to the IRS. Okay. You should still report that cash that you got, even though you didn't get a 1099. And the only reason why, a lot of people in the past has not reported those income, okay, that they make, could be $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. And after certain years, okay, the IRS says, well, guess what? You reported no income for the past 3 years. We're going to audit you. Okay, because we think that you're not running a business. You're just taking tax write-offs. Okay, deduction. We call that at the end of your losses. Okay, towards your income. So they're going to audit you. Now, if you have no proof that you were doing business, okay, then they're going to get you. But I always tell my clients that if you make $50, you make $100, even $300 total for the year, report that as cash, because that's going to help you with the IRS saying, oh, look, he made $300,000, but he's got $2,000 write-off. That's fine. Okay, there's all legal deduction because you demonstrated, right, attempt to make a profit. Now, the other one is expenses and business activities, okay? Expenses, you gotta hang on to your receipts, your invoices, every kind of expenses that you do, okay? If you work from home, you rent, that's your rent bill, your utilities, and so on, okay? Your people who own homes, your mortgage, it's your 1098 form at the end of the year, your property tax you pay, okay, and so on. And I'll show you that later on, okay, in the presentation. Okay, so you got to make sure you keep good records. This is publication 583. The IRS has this. You can look up, go to the irs.gov, G-O-V, and you can look up publication 583. And it says starting a business and keeping records. Okay, they'll tell you exactly in there. It's just the basic. It's just the basic, okay? But at least you know the basic. Publication 587. This is use of your home. Okay, again, you can go in there and read it, and they'll show you the basic of how to run the business from home. Okay, now the first home-based business that I can remember that my mom did was Avon back in the 60s. But in those days, there was no such thing as a home-based business. Okay, so I know my mom made money at Avon and selling product, and I know she had to pay taxes. Because again, dating party didn't know this is a home-based business and they could take expenses. Now, the expenses in those days, back in those 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s, was receipts and invoices, okay? We don't have computers in those days. We didn't have apps in those days, okay? So everything was old school. We had to keep all those receipts, and we had to do our own little diary of keeping all those expenses and activities and who we speak to and so on. Nowadays, the young generations are lucky because they got electronic apps to do all that, okay? Which now the last 10 years I've been using, and hallelujah, I'm saving my fingers. Now, this is the most important deduction in a home-based business and a small business, okay, guys? So really take notes. In a home-based business, okay, you gotta pick an area to have your office. If you have a spare room somewhere that ain't doing nothing, okay, it's a 10 by 10, a 12 by 12, it doesn't matter, okay? If you're using for storage, and if there's a space there, you can move the storage out of the way and make an office in that corner. That's an office, okay? Number one, office in a home. You can write off $3,000 to $5,000 in your office expense, okay? In 2018, okay, if you remember, if you work for somebody like a nurse, like a plumber, electrician, anybody like that, bus driver, which I did in Honolulu, I was a bus driver for 23 years. We were allowed to write off our shirts, our pants, our shoes, our masks, our gloves, anything that we used to go and work, okay? As in 2018, they got rid of that. So nowadays, you can't write nothing under your employee expenses, okay? None. That's why we need a home-based business to adjust those expenses, okay? Now, number one, again, pick an office in your home somewhere, $3,000 to $5,000 expenses deduction. Number two, business use of other areas, okay? If you're, I have 4 businesses that I do in my home, okay? My first business, tax services, okay? I use my office. This is the one I'm in right now, okay? It used to be a dining room, but I made it into a dining room in my office because my house is small, okay? So that's my first office. I do another business that has to do with water, alkaline water, okay? That's in the kitchen. That's my second office, okay? I do Meneluca. Okay, I used to do Meneluca. Atomy took the place of it. I used to do Meneluca, okay? And that's in the living room, okay? My wife does these 2 other businesses, so that takes my other dining room area and my basement. So that's all my rooms in my house, okay? Because in 2018, the IRS said for every business you conduct at home, you have to have a separate office. Before 2018, you could keep one office and keep all your businesses in one office, okay? But they made it so easy for me that each room of mine has a tax deduction now of home expenses. Instead of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, I'm using every single, oh, by the way, my second business has a shower unit. I get to write off my bathrooms also, okay? I got 4 bathrooms. They're all written off also because of my other business I do, because I have a unit in there that does clean water. But anyway, so that's my entire house. I get to write 100% out of every single expense that I do in this house. That's my mortgage, property tax, my utilities, repairs and maintenance, everything that I do in this house because I work from home. Another 3,000 to 5,000. Okay. 3, business use of your vehicle. That's $4,000 to $7,000. Now for your vehicle, you got to keep mileage. And the reason why you keep mileage is to keep your maintenance of your vehicle up to par. Okay, that's why you keep it. And also tells you that you're leaving from home to meet a client, or you're going to a meeting in Atomy to the what do you call the hotel we used to go once a month. Okay, that's mileage, business mileage. Okay, and because you keep records of that, you get to write off expenses under the vehicle, which is gas, oil changes, repairs and maintenance, parking. You get to write off insurance. You get to write off payments of vehicle. If you have a payment in your vehicle, you get to write off all those. If you are using it as a business, okay, and you have to prove that you went and used the car for the business, okay. Again, that's 4,000 to 7,000. Convert your personal travel to the business travel, 2,000 to 5,000. This is what I use it all the time. I use this all the time, okay? Because the business that I do, I can share all this stuff, all the business that I do, even my taxes, I can share it. And I can go anywhere I want in the United States, okay? And show people what taxes does if you do a home-based business, okay? So if I go visit my family in Florida or Hawaii, I'm always emailing one of my clients over there and let them know that I'm coming for a week. Do you have the time to meet me during that week? Okay. And a lot of times they do. They say, yes, we'll meet you. And then so on. So what I do when I meet them is we talk about tax strategy. What updates is coming up for the year, tax year is coming up and all that. And that's how I write off my personal trip and I convert it into business trip. That's how I do it. And then when I do get out it, if I ever get out it again, okay, if they want to see proof that this was a business trip, not a personal trip, then I'll print out my emails showing my clients' response to my email, their response back, and so on and so on. Okay. So again, you have to show documents. That would make your business a solid proof business. Okay. Oh, let's go back in that one. My wife over there that she knows, friends, neighbors, and same thing. My daughters are in the Atomy over there. Okay, my son is Atomy over there. So they're all sharing the product. I told my wife, when you go over there, make sure you talk about Atomy because that's how you're going to write off your trip. Even though it was a personal trip, you're going to make it as a business trip. And that's what she's been doing. So we already signed up 2 people over there while she was there. Okay. So that's how she gets to write off stuff like that. Now, she just left last night with my second daughter, which she's in Atomy also with my 2 grandkids, and they're going to California to Disneyland for 2 weeks. And again, I told my wife, make sure you share Atomy out there, okay? Both of you guys, so you can write off your trips, okay? And I don't care, make up flyers, talk about it, it doesn't matter, okay? Make sure you take their names, their address and stuff like that, so you could prove to the IRS that you talk to these people, okay? Now, that's how it used to be in the old days when I did it. But when I do it now, it seems like everybody has business cards. So I got a whole bunch of business cards that have been given to me, you know, all over when I travel. And I always say, oh, you're in this kind of business. Oh, do you know your tax write-offs when you do this business? And, you know, he says, do you have time? You know, I'll sit down with them. I'll treat them with coffee or lunch, whatever. And we'll sit down and I go, okay, explain to me how your business running. what tax deduction do you have under that business? And you'd be surprised, people, you'd be surprised that 55% doesn't even know what more taxes deduction that they could generate from that business, because their tax preparer, if you remember, and I told you in the beginning, most tax preparers don't know home-based business or small businesses, okay, what the tax write-offs are. So I sat down and I educated them that day, and that's how I get clients come to me when I travel. And I have a lot of them. I got people from Texas, I got people from California, and I met them all in Disney World or Disneyland, okay? Because I know how to do it. I'm using the tax system that the IRS has out there, okay? For people that are more knowledgeable and they understand it, okay? So for my job as your tax preparer, your financial advisor, when I have a client, is to teach you all that. So your business or your personal taxes become more, you can get something out of it back, okay? Instead of paying taxes. I do not cheat, guys. I do not cheat. I just follow the rules and regulations, okay? So again, traveling 2 to 5. Hiding your kids, guys. Hire your kids. Use tax benefits. Okay. Now, if you look, it says $12,000. Okay. That's how much you could pay your child at the age of 7 to 17. Between 7 and 17. Okay. You could hire your child, and the single standard deductible for a single person. I got to update it because that was taken a year ago. Okay. It's 12,000. Now it's 12,700 for a single tax payer reporting his taxes dollars a year. Okay, now how do you do that? Very simple. You take your 7-year-old, you take each ages, and you figure out pertaining to their age what capability or what they can do for you to help you run your business. Okay. And now between 7 and 13, they're exempted from federal and Social Security taxes. Okay. And from 14 on, they have to pay taxes and so on, okay? But between 7 and 13, they're exempted from that. Again, give them a job that they could do on their own without no problem. And kids nowadays, like my grandkids, I got an 8-year-old, that kid could freaking fix my computer and fix my iPhone when I have problems, okay? They're very, very electronic technology kids nowadays, okay? So yeah, so now, and you get, so your child, you pay them what you think you should be paid for that age, okay? And you, so the child makes money because you're paying them, okay? And you're educating them how to save money. Also, you open up a savings account, a joint savings account with your name and his name. You put his money away, and you teach him how to be financial freedom, because we was never taught that when we grew up, okay? So that's what my daughters are doing for their kids, because I taught them that way, okay? So they get to make money, and you get to write off $12,700 every year of each one of you hire. Again, more tax deductions under your business expense, under your business income, okay? And your personal income also. 6, deduction food and beverages, okay? If we go to Cage Center and you bring food to share, I hope you're keeping the receipt, because that's a tax write-off for you, okay? You're bringing something to share there, but you bought it, okay? So make sure you keep receipt for that, because that's under Atomy. That's your meal expense. You're sharing the meal. If you go out in a group of people to a restaurant, okay, and you want to talk business, and you have one that's brand new, you could purchase, you could buy them a breakfast, lunch, or dinner, depending on the time you want to meet them, okay? So you get to write off the meal, plus you just did a presentation while you were there also, okay? That's what we call deduction food and beverages, $2,000 to $4,000, okay? And I use that a lot, okay? Now, the only difference is when you do talk business to somebody and you want to meet them in a restaurant, make sure you start talking the business first before you feed them, because I know is that when you feed them first, they're not paying attention because they're pretty much full, okay? So I always start with the presentation and everything, and then after about half an hour, depending on how long the presentation is in the business, then I say, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't offer you coffee. Can I offer you some coffee? And then I go from there on. Okay. 7, 100% OOP means out of pocket. Okay, out of pocket expenses, medical costs. Okay, now when we say 100% out of pocket medical costs means we all know the regular ones, right? Which is prescription the doctor prescribes you, medical bills, eye bills, dental bills, okay, stuff like that. Premium, pay for your premium medical bills, okay? All that is tax deductions, okay? But as a 1980 going into 1990, everything that the doctors prescribe, you can find over the counters now, okay? Which is the pharmacists out there, which is Walmart, right? CVS and stuff like that. So the doctors don't have to write prescriptions for aspirins or cough medicine and so on like they used to do in the old days, okay? So those are also medical expenses, guys, okay? Even though the doctor doesn't prescribe it, if you notice, the doctor will tell you, well, for your heart, take baby aspirin, okay? Well, he's not going to prescribe that. You go to the drugstores and over the counter, you can buy that, okay? But those are medical expenses, okay? Those are medical expenses. And you have $5,000 to $10,000 in writing that off. Now, Atomy. When I was introduced to Atomy, what my wife actually signed up on Atomy, okay? With two former business people that I do business with my other businesses, okay? His name is Julio and Rebecca, and they introduced the product to my wife, and the product they introduced to us at her was cosmetic, okay? And then when we went to her home to do, because they want to do a presentation, they introduced us to coffee and toothbrush and toothpastes, and from there, from there we just went crazy because it was awesome, okay? It took me 45 days to see how I can tax the system, how I could use the tax system under Atomy, because Atomy, how can you write off coffee? How can you write off detergent? How can you write off sponges? How can you write off this detergent? How can you write off shampoo, conditioner, toothbrush, toothpaste, right? Pots and pans and stuff like that. The only thing I see there is supplement. Okay, that's the only thing I can see is right supplement. But when I went in there and did my research and I found out how they made all this product, I was amazed. Okay, I was amazed because now when I introduced the Atomy, okay, company, I introduce it as a consumer. Okay, I don't throw the business in there. It's not everybody's for business, okay? Because that's the throw up. A lot of people say, "Oh, is this a business?" No, my dear, no, sir. This is not a business. This is a company that produces awesome product with awesome low that you could afford, and it is all natural made for your health, okay? For your health, and because of that, you have the opportunity to increase your tax deductions under medical expense. And then I take every product and let them know what the product does and what it does for your health. And then they say, "Oh my God, are you serious?" I'm not, I'm really serious. I'm really, really, really. This company is awesome. And thank God that God has a lot of people that's joined Atomy out there and they're sharing it just like I'm doing, okay? So again, it is a medical expense and I will show you why it is, okay? So those are the 7 ones, guys. The 7 ones that's going to really make your business success, okay? Really make your business success is know the tax knowledge, okay? Remember in the beginning, it's what income doesn't count, it's what you bring back in your pocket, okay? Again, tax deductibles. Let me move this link here, this thing out of here. Okay, tax deductible. Total deduction, a minimum of $24,000 to $57,000 of deductions in your business. Okay, so if I make $50,000 a year, okay, which I do actually, because of all my pensions. I actually make more than that out of my pension, okay? And I take this as a medical expense, as a business, it reduces my income because I got more expenses than income. And it doesn't matter if you have more income or less expenses, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. So who would love to do a home-based business and take that much of a tax write-off? Raise your hand. I know I would, okay? And for the ones already doing it, hey, I'll give you, okay? Let me bring this one down. Okay, this is the last one, guys, here, okay? Okay, this is Hurdle. It's a bookkeeping app. That's the link. This is an app that goes on your phone, okay? And it keeps your mileage. It keeps your expenses by taking pictures. It keeps your income. You can put all that in this app. At the end of the year, the app, you go in the back office of your app, okay? Laptop or computer, and you can print everything out by not even doing it like every night, taking the receipts and separate them, automobile, meals, and so on. This app does it for you, okay? It categories everything to you, okay? At the end of the year, you take that big list and then you give it to the tax preparer. Now, I'm not here to steal your tax preparers. I'm here to educate you so that way you can turn an absolutely awesome tax deduction to your tax preparer to take it under your income that you make. That's what I'm here for, okay? That's it. So this is a perfect app, and it's less than $10 a month. That's a tax write-off, guys, okay? And it's 100% IRS and states, all 50 states, certified. It is certified, okay? They know this app. Profits are better than wages. Wages makes you a living. Profit makes you a fortune. How can you work on both? A living and a fortune? You can start part-time working on your fortune, which we are doing if we work, somebody else, okay? While you are working a full-time job. This is Jim Roth. This is one of my motivator, awesome person that I miss him because he passed away in 2013. And at the age of 95. And I got every single tape and books that he has written, and it made me what I am today, okay? IRS tax code, section 213 Delta, medical. Any service or goods purchased for the purpose of treating an illness or disease is a medical expense. Welcome to Atomy, because it falls right in there, okay? It actually falls in there. So be happy that whoever shared this business or products to you, give them a big hug and a kiss because I'm happy about it, okay? That's it, guys.
Wow, thank you so much, Luis. This is a whole new chapter for me, and a lot of our members are learning a lot about the tax system as an independent business owner. So I really appreciate all your information. I'm sure everybody has a different idea to what to do for their next preparation for the tax. So if you have any question, this is a very precious time. Please raise your hand because the Luis is available now. So let me know if you have any question about your text. Okay, number one, Paul, then Nanyong. Okay, no, go ahead, Paul, unmute, please. Paul, unmute.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent presentation. In fact, my first request is, can you do something again like this? Because there's I have so many questions in so many areas. My first question, I guess, would be, you mentioned in it that everybody should have a business plan. I don't know if most people who become Atomy business owners even know where to begin doing a business plan. If you can give us maybe some samples, or do you suggest that we go on Google and Google a sample? And you're saying that we should have that on hand, or just wait until until we're audited, if we're ever audited.
You should always have that on hand in case you get audited. That should work. That should work. Yeah.
Okay, and some of these things like medical expenses that we can deduct, does that mean my medical premiums that I pay every month can be deducted? Really? So that means then that if I deducted all of those kind of bills, I would end up really never making a profit because we're not that big a business. And if we're not making a profit, wouldn't that be danger that the IRS would say you're not a serious business?
So you gotta understand, okay? You and Kate, you and Kate out together, right? As the joint family, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah, we do
So,
together.
yeah, so because you filed together as married, as couples, okay, you get 25,900 extended deductible. If you add all your medicals, all your premium, okay, and all that stuff, donations that you give to church, goodwill, okay, stuff like that, medical expenses.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Yeah.
If you supersede 25,900, then those things will come in play in your Schedule A. But sometimes people don't have that much, okay, because you're better health. I'm in good health. I don't have that much because I'm good health. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I do business, because Schedule A for those items don't do nothing. So I take my 1098, which is a mortgage interest and property tax form, and I put it into my home business because I'm using my business at home. So I get to write off the mortgage interest and the property taxes and all the repairs and maintenance and utilities used in my home.
Okay, another issue that I was gonna ask you, you didn't mention anything about this, but someone once told me that as the business gets bigger, we should get some LLC insurance. Now, at what stage do you think people need to do that?
Okay, so as a business person, when people come to me, they want to start a business, okay, I always recommend, because you just start the business, okay, and Atomy, again, you got to think about Atomy is not a business, it's a consumer, right? How we make it a business by sharing the product, right? That's how we do the business, okay?
Right.
So what you got to look is if you're going to make a certain amount in Atomy, okay, you want to protect your asset. That means your property value, which is your home, your cars and stuff. Because you never know that somebody is going to be out there trying to sue you for something. Okay, that's how this world is. I remember back in those days, nobody sued nobody, right? You just shook hands, that was it. Well, nowadays it's all about money, guys. It's all about money next to you. So if you protect your business, okay, you want to be a LLC, okay, that protects your business. That protects your property asset, which means they cannot go after your private materials, your private property stuff. They could sue your company, and that's all right. They can take the company, whatever is the value of it. I'll turn around and start another one, okay, because that's what you could do, okay. As you start making more money in your business, okay, you want to change your entity. Okay, instead of a Schedule C, now you want to go as an S corp, okay, a corporation, which is S corp. And the S corp, what does is, while the company makes money, okay, you're working for that company, okay, you're the manager, even though you're the shareholder, single person shareholder, okay. At the end of the year, you get 100% share. It could be a gain or it could be a loss, okay. That gain or loss goes over to your regular 1040 personal, okay. Now, under your S corp, you have tax deductions, just like you did as a sole proprietor. But now the S corp takes over those expenses, okay, to lower the wages, just like the Schedule C does, right? But again, you're only the manager, you're a shareholder. So, because the company has hired you to run the company as a manager and make money for it, okay, the company, if they have the money, could put you on their payroll. Now the company is going to be paying you as a wages under W-2. They're going to pay your federal, state, Medicare, Social Security, and so on and so on. So now you're working for the company. But at the end of the year, okay, you get a K1, which is a share form K1, and you pay taxes on that. It could be a loss or it could be a gain. But that's in the future. If you guys got any questions to that, you can always email me. It's text